All right, just wait for a few seconds so that everybody is able to see my screen, and then I shall begin. All right, guys, let's dive into the training session. Today, we have all come here to explore Animaker Advanced 101. What is this training session all about? Well, this training session is for the Animaker users who are pretty used to this Animaker interface and are looking to make their skills to a professional level. Is that really possible? Well, of course. Animaker is a shockingly simple DIY tool that allows you to create stunningly professional and beautiful visuals. How can you do that? Well, with a little bit of coaching and training, you will be able to do it with no prior experience. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. Let's begin. What are we going to cover today? We're going to cover the advanced features of Animaker, how to make a professional looking animated video, and 5 advanced hacks to make you an Animaker Pro. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Aravindan, and I'm here to help you explore Animaker. At any point after this webinar, if you have any questions or queries, you can always find me at aravind@animaker.com. That is ARAVIND@animaker.com. Welcome to Animaker. What is Animaker? Animaker is a do-it-yourself animation video maker. It is shockingly simple to use, and we have 75 plus animated characters that allows you to tell your animated stories in a visually stunning way. We have thousands of character animations that allows you to show your actions and expressions in the most creative way possible. What kind of videos can you actually make on Animaker? You can make explainer videos. In today's business world, all businesses rely on videos to communicate their business model and explain their businesses to their potential clients. Videos are perfect for this kind of an explanation because they engage and entertain at the same time. There are hundreds of examples out there where businesses have grown from simple startup to a well-known brand using the power of explainer videos. One very famous brand is, of course, Dropbox. We would have observed that our social media walls are all filled with animated videos these days. Whether it is Facebook, Instagram, most recently Quora, all of them have created an unfair bias towards video content. But how do you create video content for your channels that is apt for your audience? Well, that's where Animaker comes into play. Video advertising. Now, as I just told you, all digital platforms are slowly adapting the video content as their favorite content format. Then ads are no different. Gone are the days when big production houses and huge corporate companies held a monopoly over the video advertising space. Today, anybody with a simple idea can go ahead and create stunning, visually appealing ads and display it across all social media platforms using advanced tools like Animaker. Lyric videos. We all love to listen to music, and we all love to listen to those beautiful music tracks on YouTube as well. But you would have observed on visual platforms such as YouTube, simple music files are displayed with a visual of representing the lyrics of the song. And you would have observed that these lyrics are displayed in the most innovative and interesting ways. How do they do these kind of videos? Well, Animaker is one of the most effective tools in order to create the best lyric videos out there. Even what is even better, we already have taken the effort to create some stunning templates that you can use to make a stunning lyric video for your favorite song. We all know that infographics are nothing but visual representation of data. But when you represent numbers in just charts and graphs, it's not that interesting anymore. It's not that appealing to your audience. So how can you take your numbers to the next level? Well, what if they could be videos? What if your numbers could be represented in interesting, engaging video format that your audience can consume right away? That's exactly what video infographics can do for you. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Intro videos. All YouTube videos require an intro video. This intro video acts as a simple branding exercise that associates your video with your channel. How do you create these videos? Animaker is there to help you with that too. You can create stunning, short animated intro videos that can really make your videos stand out from the rest of the crowd in crowded digital space such as YouTube. Greeting videos. Gone are the days when we used to go around buying greeting cards. At the end of the day, greeting cards are nothing but a simple sheet on which someone else has written a piece of words. That's not really personalized, is it? Well, that's where greeting videos comes into play. You can go log into Animaker, click greeting videos, and create your own stunning video greeting with personalized text for your loved ones. In fact, we even have some stunning templates that you can use. All you have to do is select a favorite template, key in your text, and voila, your personalized greeting video is ready. Okay, that's all interesting. But what are the amazing features of Animaker that allows you to do this? Number one, you have 6 different video styles. As you would have observed in Animaker, we don't just create simple one-dimensional 2D videos, but we have 6 different video styles. That's why we call Animaker not just a video application, but it is a vibrant video ecosystem. What are the type of videos? There are 2D videos, 2.5D videos, handcraft videos, infographic videos, typography videos, and whiteboard videos. We always are very proud to tell you that Animaker has the world's largest animated library. It's a huge collection of characters, assets, properties, backgrounds, expressions, actions, etc., etc. We have put together the world's largest animated library that you can utilize in order to create your video. Apart from this, we have much, much more. And we also have a huge lineup of very interesting features just to be released. Follow our blog and social media channels in order to get updated about all the latest features. Enough of theory. What can Animaker really do? Come, let's find out. This is the Animaker app. As you would have already seen, the Animaker app is divided into 5 sections. On the right side, you can see the library section. As I just told you, this houses the world's largest animated library. The bottom of the scene, you can see the timeline section. The timeline is divided into 3, the object timeline, the camera timeline, and the music timeline. The timeline allows you to manipulate the entry, exit, and the total lifespan of your characters and objects in your particular video. On the left of the screen, you can see the scenes section. You can add, delete, duplicate your scenes in this particular section. Scenes are nothing but simple slides that you create that combine together in order to create one stunning video. At the bottom of the scene section, you can see the play buttons that allow you to play this video from the first scene or from the current scene. Below the timeline, below the play buttons, you can see a timer. This allows you to increase and decrease the total length of your scene. By default, it is set at 10 seconds. You can increase it by using the plus button and decrease it by using the minus button. At the top of the screen, you can see the menu bar. This allows you to perform simple actions such as create a new project, save your project, rename your project, etc., etc. At the center of the screen, you can see the workspace. This is the empty canvas where your video comes to life. All right, let's get down into action. I'm going to just run through with the simple features of Animaker so that I can focus more on the advanced features today, as this is an advanced webinar. If you're more interested in the basic features, I strongly recommend you to join our basic features webinar that we have every week. I believe you can have much more in-depth discussion about the basic features in that particular webinar. So let's begin. As you would see, this particular character option reveals the various characters in Animaker. We have a huge collection of animated characters. They've also been classified into various categories. Apart from this, we also have a huge collection of properties, backgrounds, text, numbers, screen effects to spice up your videos, music files. We have a huge collection of music that are classified into background music and special effects that you can add into your video. And if you feel you want to customize your video more than all of this, then you can even upload your own images, sound, and voiceover. What is even better, when you go into the voiceover section, you can even record your own voice to create a custom narrative for your video. All you have to do is click on the start button and start talking into the video to create your own custom narrative. We also have a collection of transition effects that can allow you to smoothly transition from one scene to another without feeling the cut. Okay, so when I select a particular character, the character appears on the workspace. At the top of the character, you can see the item menu. This item menu houses some of the most interesting features of Animaker. I'm going to show you one by one. To the left of the screen, you can see the property window. You can open and close the property window by using the enable property button. This property window houses a huge collection of animated actions, expressions, colors, and settings. I'm going to show you how each of them works. As you can see, I have selected Mr. Bean here. He is one of my favorite characters in Animaker. He can do a whole list of various different actions for us. So let's pick the working on a PC action. So there he is working away in his computer. But working on a white background isn't really very impressive, is it? So let's give him a background. Let's say maybe an office would be a perfect fit. So there's Mr. Bean working away in his office environment. So these kind of backgrounds can really enhance the ambience of your videos. Okay, that's interesting. What else can you do for us? So let's see. Let's add another scene. Call upon Mr. Bean again. And as you would have observed, even the office environment, the characters seem to be a little static in the space. So how do you make your characters actually move around? Let me show you how that works. Click on backgrounds. Look for an outdoor background. Let's pick this city. Yep, looks interesting. Okay. Now, I click on the character to reveal the item menu. Click on enable property button. Select an interesting action. Yep. Now, to make a character actually move across the screen, you can use the multi-move action. So click on multi-move, click on start. A pin appears. Then this pin represents the start of your action. Move character across the screen along the path that you want him to move in. Click on add pin. A second pin appears. As you would have observed, the distance between the pin represents the total time taken for the character to perform a particular action. So now, when I click on the play button, you can see Mr. Bean flying across the screen. So this is where the character really becomes animated. Okay, that's really interesting. The next one that I have in store for you today is another interesting feature for which I'll call upon Mr. Bean again. And let's give him an office background again. Cool. Let's get him back to work. So he is working away. But we all don't hold the same expression throughout the day, do we? Well, let's see what Mr. Bean can do in terms of expressions for us. Here's a whole list of expressions that Mr. Bean can perform for us. See there, he is happy, sad, sleeping, happy again, and angry. So how can he perform these actions simultaneously? This is where your advanced features come into play. Click on more options and click on the record button. When you click on start, a pin appears. This pin marks the first expression. I'll choose the second one. Click on add pin. Third one. Click on add pin. Fourth one. click on add pin, and fifth one, click on add pin. Now, as you'd have guessed, the distance between each pin represents the total time that Mr. Bean holds each of the expressions. So I'm going to play around a little bit with the expressions. Yep. You click on exit and play. There is angry, sleeping, happy, sad, and now joyful. Now, as you can see, the record option can allow users to make their characters represent various different expressions simultaneously. All right, that seems interesting. What else can Animaker do for me? Well, let's see. At the bottom of the workspace, you can see several options. Let me tell you what these are. The first one is the camera in option. The second one is the back to frame option. Third one allows you to include a grid that allows you to arrange and organize and align your objects and characters properly in your scene. These are the play buttons that allow you to play from the beginning of the scene. These are the entry and the exit effects. So let me show you how the entry and the exit effects work. So let's go back to our first scene. When I click on the play button, you can see that both the background as well as the character appears immediately on scene. That's not really interesting, is it? So let's control that. Click on the object, click on the entry effect button. You can select from a whole different collection of our entry and exit effects. So let me pick maybe maybe an Irish circle. Let's also give him an exit effect, which is like blur. Now, as you can see, the red areas in the timeline represents the total time taken for the entry and the exit effect to occur. So when I now click on the play button, appears with an Irish circle. And disappears with a blur. So this allows you to control the total way in which your character appears and disappears on screen. That's really cool. What else can Animaker do for us? Let's see. Another interesting feature, as I just told you, is the camera in and back to frame option. How do you use that in your storytelling? Let me just show you a simple story. Call upon Mr. Bean. Pick a unique background. Now, apart from static image backgrounds, we also have a collection of animated backgrounds. These are backgrounds that are already moving to create additional impact onto your scenes. So let's pick Mr. Bean, place him here. Let's give him an interesting action. Click on Enable Property to reveal his various actions. All right, scroll through to pick the right one. Let's say, wait. Nothing seems to be an interesting action. So, a huge collection of actions can sometimes make it really difficult to find the right one. So, let's go back to the beginning. Right. Yep. Not that one. Not that one. Running seems to be an interesting action. So let's place him at the right spot. But Mr. Bean is running in a spooky forest and he's not really giving the right expression. There he is running scared from something. So let's give him something to be scared of. Let's go to properties. Let's go for animals maybe. And look for an interesting animal. There's Mr. T-Rex. Let's pick him. Give him 2. Interesting action. Make it a little bit bigger. Place him at the right spot. When I click on the play button, you can see Mr. Bean running scared from Mr. T-Rex. Okay, now that's an interesting story. But how do you spice up your story? That's where the camera effects come into play. So when I click on the camera in button, a camera object appears on the camera timeline. Now this object represents the zoom in. So when I select this object, place it right over Mr. Bean, and move it on the timeline a little bit, and then I click and select another camera in option, space it out a little bit, make it a little bit bigger to focus and cover Mr. T-Rex. Yep. Now when I click on the play button, we zoom into Mr. Bean, pan to Mr. T-Rex, and now that's how you tell an interesting story. These kind of camera effects are the simple effects that take you from a novice to a professional. How can you make it even better? I'm going to add some more back to frame options. So now when I click on the back to frame option, yep, and I alternate another back to frame option. Yep. Now when I click on the play button, zoom into Mr. Bean, back, zoom into Mr. T-Rex, and back. So these kind of camera effects can really take your video to an actual professional level. So now I'm also going to give you another simple professional hack. How do these professional designers really utilize these tools in order to make stunning, professional, and visually appealing videos? The number one trick is to duplicating the scenes. For example, here we have created 4 unique scenes. But in case you want to create a full video out of these scenes, how can you do that? If you want your video to extend beyond a minute, let's say, all you have to do is duplicate each of these scenes twice or thrice. That way, your total length of the video will be several times increased. But if you show the same video again and again, well, it's going to be quite boring. How do you solve that issue? You can solve that issue by changing 3 fundamental things. Number 1, you can change the background. Number 2, you can change the text face and the text color. Number 3, you can play around with the entry and exit effect and its timing. I'm going to show you how all of these are done in just a minute. Okay, that seems interesting. So what are the features of Animaker do I have to show you for today? The next is the volume option. No great video was ever created without the proper music. So let's go back to Mr. Bean in Office. Let's go to our music files. Let's select Ambitious Day. Seems to pretty fit the occasion. So let's go to our music timeline. Now, as you have observed, the music timeline is a common timeline for all the several different scenes. Why is it so? Well, this is structured this way because the music needs to continue playing even when your video is shifting from one scene to another. That is when the users will have the total experience of consuming something that is a whole video. So I'm going to pick Ambitious Day music track and place it on the timeline. Now I have added the music into the video. I'm going to move it to scene number 1. All right, that's okay. Now, when I click on the music file, I can see a pop-up menu bar. This allows you to adjust the volume of the music. You can increase or decrease the volume based on your requirements. You can also delete the music file using the delete button. So now when I click on the scene, Mr. Bean is working away in his office with a beautiful music track. This really adds on to the effect. But this is not just it. What else can you do with the music? Well, you can simultaneously have three different layers of music. Let me show you. So I've had the bass music. I'm going to reduce the volume. Okay. Now I'm going to add a special effect. Let's say a beep. Drag it and drop it on the second layer. And place it at the exact moment that you want it to play. Now when you click on the play button, you can hear the beep too along with the music. So that's layer number 2. Apart from this, you can also add your own voiceover into the video. So totally, you can have a 3 different simultaneous music files playing together. This way, you can really add some interesting voice mixes into your video along with a very good background music. All right, all of this is really interesting. But what are the other themes that I was talking to you about? Let's move on from 2D. The next interesting theme that I want to talk to you about is maps. So I'll go on to infographics. Let's go to, you would have observed when I go on to the infographics theme, the character options has been replaced with the infographics option. In infographics, we have 3 different sections. The charts that houses a huge collection of animated charts that can represent your numbers. We also have numbers that can represent increase and decreasing numbers in interesting ways. And apart from all of this, we also have a huge collection of maps. This is one of the underutilized yet very powerful advanced tool, an Animaker. If you really want to be a professional videographer using Animaker, this is the tool that you should not miss. As you can see, we have a huge collection of animated maps that can represent any part of the world in the most interesting way. What can you use these for? Well, the number one purpose is to represent numbers. Whether it is your sales numbers from across the globe, whether your marketing numbers from across the globe, you want to represent any particular statistics, all of these require you to represent various different global maps. And you can do that with Animaker. So let me pick one now. When I click on a particular map, it appears on the timeline. And unlike any other property across the Animaker ecosystem, you can manipulate the various different properties of the maps as well. As you can see, this represents a flight route from this particular location to the endpoint. You can manipulate everything. So first, I can choose the color in which various areas are represented. I can also choose the total curvature with which the path is represented. You can do that by changing the curve up and the curve down toggle bar. You can also change the icon color by playing around with color option. As you can see, the flight changes into different colors when I choose to change the color. I can also change the curve color. This way, I can represent various different trade routes, flight routes, etc., using various different interesting maps. I can also choose various types of maps, such as area map, network map, tile map, location map, etc. I can also, of course, change the theme color. Let's say if I pick this one, the total theme changes. You can choose to change the text, font, text color, background color, with label or without label. I can choose the map to be just an outline or with all the states in between. I can also choose to make the map a little bit more transparent or maybe more opaque. I can also choose an entry and exit effect for the maps as well. All of these are simple yet very advanced features that a lot of our users do not really completely utilize. All right, all of these are advanced features of Animaker that I have introduced you to today. But you have to go ahead and try these out immediately, aren't you? Well, hang in there. I have 5 unique advanced hacks for you to go ahead and make your videos to a professional level right away today. And at the end of this webinar, I also have a special gift for all of you and webinar viewers exclusively for you. So hang in there till the very end. Here are the 5 different hacks that I'm going to show you today. Number 1, I'm going to start with a simple text reveal. So let me show you all the 5 hacks first. This is an interesting text reveal action. Second is a spotlight effect. The third is an object in text effect. Pretty cool, isn't it? The next one is the beating heart effect. Fourth one is a character entry effect. All right. Now, all of these seems to be little advanced tricks, but let me tell you, they are pretty simple. All you have to do is follow the instructions that I'm going to give you. So let's begin with the simplest one. We add a scene. All right. Go into properties, search circle. Select the ring. Now, if you're on a Mac, use Command C, Command V. And if you're on a PC, use Control C, Control V. I'm going to change these rings to different sizes. First one, second one, and third one. The next thing I'm going to do is play around with the entry effect of each of these rings. I'm going to give it a pop-up ring effect for all 3 options. Entry effect, select pop-up ring, pop-up ring. I'm also going to change the colors of each of these rings. Now, if you remember, as I told you, the fundamental difference between a professional designer and a simple novice designer is the way he uses his colors. The colors are a very important part of your designing experience, and you have to be very careful while choosing the right color palette for you to make your videos visually appealing. Gonna enable property button. Select a darker color. Now, let's go back to 2D and add an interesting character. Let's call, wait. Yep, let's call upon the detective. I'm going to give the detective 2 a pop-up ring effect. So now when I click on the play button, wow, to add to the spice, you can also play around a little bit with the timing. So this is where the designers stand out from the novice. So when I change the timing of each object by just half a second, first one, the green one starts at 0, the yellow one starts at around half a second, the red one starts at the 1 second mark, the character starts after the 1.5 second mark. Now when I click on the play button, that seems like a much more interesting effect. These kind of small hacks can really make your video stand out. So I'm going to next show you the beating heart effect. So let's go to properties, search for heart. Nope, not the kind of heart that I was looking for. So let's go to infographics, properties, and here let's search for heart. Let's pick this heart. Click on enable property button. Select right heart. Click on the beating heart. The next pick, let's zoom out a little bit more. Let's enlarge it. Add in the text. All right. Now we're going to be playing around a little bit more with the text. Now this particular effect is really useful when you're creating a lyric video. For example, if you have your favorite song that you want to represent in a lyric video format, this is an interesting effect that can make your video really stand out. So let me show you how this works. So I've made an eye. I've made it in the white color. Now I'm going to give it an entry effect. Let's say enter from left. All right. So it takes 0 to 1 second for this particular text box to appear on screen. I'm going to copy paste this object using the Command C, Command V option. As I'm using a Mac, if you're on a PC, feel free to use Control C and Control V. Now I'm going to make this particular text box appear after the 1 second mark. I'm going to change the text as well. Next, I'm going to reduce the lifespan of the first object by reducing the yellow bar. Perfect. Now I'm going to use Command C, Command V to copy paste another version of the object. Let's go to the second object and reduce its lifespan to just below 2.5 seconds. Cool. Go on to the third one. Move it to make it appear after the 2.5 second mark. Change the text to you. And then reduce the timing. Then I'm going to do something really interesting. Now let's make a mark at the 3.5 second area. Now I'm going to select the heartine, and using the multi-move action, I'm going to reduce its size. So zoom out a little bit to make it a little bit easier. All right. So now I click on the multi-move button, click on start, the pin appears, zoom out a little bit more, select the object, reduce its size, and add another pin. So now, when I click on the play button, I love you. Yep, that's an interesting way of representing your lyrics in your lyric videos. The next one is an interesting effect. Now, as you can see, using objects to represent particular alphabets in your words can be an interesting way of actually representing in a designer sense. For example, when you say a large percentage of people utilize Animaker, instead of using the word percentage, if you can utilize the percentage symbol, won't that be an interesting way of visually representing your words? That is an interesting idea. So I'm going to show you how that can work in a better way. Let's select background color, bring in the right property first. So let's search for a clock. Select the clock. Next, let's make the clock a little bit smaller. Place it at the right point in the center of the screen. Add another text. Place it to the left. Add the words CL. Then I'm going to move it around a little bit to place the right specification. All right. I'm going to change the color too. Let's give it maybe a white. Now I'm going to select the text object. Control C, Control V in a Mac, Command C, Command V in a PC to copy paste the object and place it on the other side. Perfect. Now I'm going to change the text as well. Cool. Now I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's say make the clock a little bit bigger. And I'm going to add a multi-move option. So I click on multi-move, click on start. The first pin appears. I'm going to make it small all the way to fit in. I'm going to add another pin. Let's say it takes a total of 1 second for this particular action. Then I'm going to give this text a little bit more entry effect. So let's give it enter from left. And place it after the 1.5 second mark. Second one, place it at the exact same point as the first one and give it the same effect, slightly different, enter from right. Perfect. Now I'm also going to spice up the story by adding an interesting screen effect. So let's see what's interesting. Right, let's go to the classic speed lines. So let's make it appear right from the beginning. Now when I click on the play button, you can see that's an interesting way of using the clock as the O inside the word clock. This visual representation spices up your story to the next advanced level. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, that's not it. I have some more for you. As you can see, when you have a particular character performing a particular action on screen, it is always great. But if you really want to highlight a particular action, how do you do that? So let's call upon Mr. Bean for that, and let's give him the right ambience. Let's go to picture. Let's select maybe celebration and give him a stage to dance on. Let's place him on stage, reduce him a little bit, place him on to dance. Perfect. Now, I am also going to give him a dancing action. Ah, there's Mr. Bean dancing away. Next, I'm going to go back to 2D. I'm sorry, infographics. I'm going to pick the right bullet. Let's say bullet. Or maybe let's search for a triangle. Ah, perfect. Now I'm going to make it a little bit lengthy. Place it right over Mr. Bean. Go to colors, make it white. And now the real trick is that even when I have placed this, Mr. Bean is not really visible on screen. So I'm going to play around with the transparency, make it a little bit more transparent in order to make Mr. Bean visible. So now when I click on the play button, you can see Mr. Bean dancing in the middle of the spotlight. Now the spotlight really helps to add on when you really want to specify a particular expression or an action. What is another interesting way to do this? Let me add another scene, and I'm going to give you a simple effect as well. Let's go back to 2D. Give it a simple colored background. Let's say maybe a blue or a darker blue, violet. Okay, next, let's search for a circle. Let's go to properties, search for a circle. Oops, that's not a circle. Yep, let's pick that one. Go to properties. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is use this particular circle as a highlight. So I'm going to expand it and place it as a semicircle on screen. So when I place it like this, only half a circle is visible on screen. Now I'm going to pick a character. Let's call upon who will fit this. Yep, let's call upon the bearded man. I'm going to make it much bigger. Now, as you can see, when you make the characters bigger, the focus shifts from the entire body to just their face. So when you want to have a particular expression that you want to show, let's see what expressions that he has. Talking? Nope. Yeah. He is really angry. So when you want to focus on that particular anger emotion, instead of just showing the whole character on screen, if you can focus on that particular area, which is the face and the body, then the viewer's attention is completely focused on the expression instead of getting diverted across various other elements. Let me show you how that works. When I click on the play button, you can see Mr. Bean, and your focus is on his anger expression throughout. These are simple effects that general users do not really get. As a DIY tool, most of our users, whenever they pick up a character, place the whole character on screen. But instead, if you can place only half of it, then you can focus more on the expressions. Cool. The last is the entry of text effect. This is an effect that can really help you in adding a spice to your headlines and the beginning of your video. That's really cool. How do you do this? Let's go back to infographics. Let's look for properties. Let's look for a bullet. Search for a bullet. Select the rectangular bullet. Expand it a little bit. Perfect. Now place it to one side of the screen. Make sure it fits into the screen. Perfect. Now I'm gonna give it an entry effect. So let's give it wipe from right to left. Now I'm going to copy paste this object using Command C, Command V in a Mac and Control C, Control V in a PC. So I'm going to go into the wipe effect in its properties. I'm going to make it in the opposite direction. Perfect. I'm going to make a third copy of the same object. All right. I'm going to make it much smaller. I'm going to place it right at the center. Perfect. Now I'm going to play around a little bit with the entry and the exit effects. So let's go in, give this one too a wipe effect. Go to properties, give it a top-down effect. Perfect. Now, as you can see, the first object should appear from 0 to 1. The second and the third objects should appear from 1 to 2 seconds. So let's pick and place it after the 1 second mark. Okay. A little bit before. Perfect. Now, the next thing that I'm going to add is the text. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, make it fit into the place. I'm going to key in Animaker. Let's keep it all caps for uniformity. I'm going to make it center aligned. Perfect. Also going to change the color a little bit to make it more visible. Yep, perfect. Now the thing to do with this particular text is that it should appear after the second and the third objects. That is, after the 2 second mark. And it should appear with again a wipe effect, but this time bottom up. Perfect. Now I'm going to give all of these objects exit effects as well. Let's give the text an exit effect of wipe. Let's reduce its lifespan much lower, say just before the 5 second mark. And I'm going to keep the same direction. Next, I'm going to make all of the above objects exit at different timing. So the text disappears at 5 seconds. So let's place the third and the smallest bar at 8 seconds disappearing time. So let's place it at 8 seconds. 8 seconds, yes. Now I'm going to add an exit effect of wipe. Perfect. Yes. So it appears with the bottom up. So we're going to give an exit. Sorry. The top down appearing effect. So exit in the opposite direction. Similarly, let's give all of these characters an exit effect. Give it wipe. But if the entry effect is from left to right, exit is going to be from right to left. Similarly, the last one, give it an exit effect from 6 to 7 seconds. Click on wipe. The entry effect is from right to left. Exit effect is from left to right. So now when I click on the play button, yep, that is an interesting way of representing your headings on screen. Perfect, isn't it? These are all 5 simple hacks that I had in store for you today. And we've come to almost the end of the session. And you would all remember that I had something special stored for you at the end of the session. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you right now. But please hang in there while we move on to the most interesting section of this particular session. I hope all of you enjoyed it. And I also have a special gift for all of you webinar lovers who have taken the time to attend this webinar and stay in there till the very end. I can also see some of you are repeat viewers who've come again to this particular session. So for that love and understanding, I have a special offer just for you. A very big discount offer just ended, and I have saved 10 coupons just for webinar viewers that have come today. So the discount that I'm going to give you is 50% off on the business yearly plan. As you would have observed, I showed you several of the advanced tricks that you can utilize in Animaker to make your videos to the professional level. But if you want to really utilize all of these effects and all of these features, you will have to go for the business plan, which allows you complete access to all the different characters and all of its actions. And the best possible plan that I can give you for is the business yearly plan. And you can never get it as cheap as I'm going to give it to you today, because you're going to get it at a 50% discount. It's going to cost you just $234 for a whole year. And what is even better, if you choose to pick it up at this price using the discount coupon that I'm going to give you today, it will recur at the same price throughout. That is, you will get a 50% discount on our pricing throughout for an entire lifetime. I'm going to be keying in the coupon code as well as the link to which you can utilize the coupon code. And it is web SPL 50. And the link is www.animaker.com/payment. All right, all you have to do is click on the link, go there, and purchase your Animaker business yearly plan at a never before seen offer price. Now, if you have any questions or queries regarding the plan, regarding the discount offer, or Animaker and video making in general, feel free to ask me in the chat below, and I'll be happy to take on your questions. Guys, if you have any questions for me, it can be about video making, video marketing, Animaker in general, or about the special never before seen offer that I have given you, just ask your questions in the chat below. Now, I also have to mention that this particular offer is a special offer that I have saved for you guys, and it will be valid exactly for 48 hours. The system will automatically disable in 48 hours, so I would recommend you to go ahead and utilize it quickly. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask in the chat below. If you have any questions, feedback, let me know in the chat below and I'll be happy to take them on. Frank, Emily, Adrian, Keshav, Ravan. If you have any questions for me, guys, go ahead and feel free to ask in the chat below. And I'll be happy to take on your questions. My email, Emily, is aravind@animaker.com. I'll drop it in the chat below. You can pick it up. If you have any questions or queries, feel free to drop a mail to this email ID and I'll be happy to take it on. Have you got it, Emily? Should I repeat it again? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session. I'm sorry, Frank, I didn't exactly understand your question. I understand that it's about the timeline. What is the exact question that you have? Thank you so much, Keshav, for joining me today. Thank you, Simon. I hope you enjoyed this session as I enjoyed it giving it to you. Frank, I did not understand your question perfectly. Can you repeat it for me? Guys, I'm going to repeat the offer that I've given you. This is one of the biggest offers that we've ever given at Animaker, and it's going to be available exclusively for 48 hours. So the coupon code is WEBSPL50. That's WEBSPL50, exclusively for webinar viewers. And it's going to be available just for 48 hours. So I recommend that you go ahead for the purchase right away, because the coupons are automatically disabled by the system and I will not be able to provide it to you at a later date. Guys, if you have any questions, it can be about video making or Animaker or any of its features, feel free to ask me. I'm going to be hanging around for a few more minutes before I wind up the session. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope all of you enjoyed this session as much as I enjoyed presenting it to you. I would like to remind you about the offer that I gave to you today. This is one of the best offers that Animaker has ever given. If you are hoping to explore Animaker to its fullest potential, I personally recommend that you go for the business yearly plan right away. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raman, for your compliment. I'll be winding up the session right now. If you have any questions or queries, feel free to drop an email at aravind@animaker.com. That's ARAVIND@animaker.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this session today. Have a great day ahead.